To talk to you about a subject that's near and dear to my heart. It's about pets. I don't know how many of you have pets. Does anyone here have a pet? Also, we can just see. Okay, well, this is going to be germane to those who have pets and also to those who don't, because I'm going to try and convey to you why you should have a pet. Now, the ordinary accepted meaning of a pet is an animal that's kept for entertainment or for companionship. It's an object of affection. But it does more than convey that it's an object of affection, because it also gives affection to the owner. Now, there are different types of pets. They come in all sizes, all shapes and all sizes, and depends what your type of pet you like. I like dogs, but that's the most common type of pets. But you also get other types of pets. You get horses, you can get frogs, you can get birds, reptiles, lizards. I don't care much for them. As I said, my choice is dogs. I've always had a dog, ever since I was a little boy growing up in Johannesburg, South Africa. I remember my father came home from the pound one day with this little dog. It was about so high, black and white dog that was a mixture between a Dalmatian and a fox terrier. And we loved him, but he wasn't everyone's cup of tea as a dog. I remember once I had a cousin who came to sleep at our house over that night, and the dog jumped on the bed, and when she tried to kick him off, he growled and snarled at her and showed her teeth, which didn't exactly endear himself to her. But dogs are members of the family. Your pet is a member of your family, and just like you have family members who don't always appeal to everyone else, so too with your pets. You like them, and someone else may not like them. But as I said, I've always had dogs, and if I fast forward a couple of decades and I come to live in the United States, it was time to get a dog when our kids were growing up. And it reminded me of a movie I saw called Babe. Did anyone see that movie?
Yes.
Babe was a movie about a dog that brings up a pig. And the dog's name was Fly, and Fly was an Australian Shepherd. And the pig's name the pig's name was, I've just forgotten the name of the pig. In any event, the Fly did such a good job in bringing up the pig that I thought that's the type of dog that I'd like to have, an Australian Shepherd. Because it's a kind and caring dog, and it did such a good job in bringing up this pig that it had all the qualities that I thought one would like to have in a dog. So I found a breeder in Ojai and went out to see the breeder and looked at this litter of little playful pups, and was quite impressed by how friendly they all appeared, and we chose the one, and this is a red merle. Now, an Australian dog, you may be interested to know, has nothing to do with Australia at all. It's actually a breed that comes from Minnesota, and it doesn't have a dog, which is quite unusual for a dog, and that's a good thing because a dog can't get caught in anything, and also it wouldn't knock anything over. So we took this little dog, Matisse, and he came into our lives, and we soon realized that just like people who need a companion, dogs also need companions. So we decided to get Matisse a little mate, and we went back to the breeder and ended up with what's known as a blue merle. A red merle is the type of Australian Shepherd that's red and white in color with a brown nose, and a blue merle is a mottled grey and white dog. Two beautiful dogs that have given us so much pleasure. But we live on our house borders Amundsen Ranch. And our Amundsen Ranch is in the Santa Monica Mountains, and we get a lot of wildlife in our house. We've had hawks that have flown into the windows. We've had bobcats and coyotes, and more dangerous are rattlesnakes. So knowing that these two playful pups would be attracted by anything that takes their fancy, we thought we need to do something about it in order to protect them, that they don't get bitten by a rattlesnake. So we enrolled them in snake school. Now, I don't know whether any one of you know that there's such a thing as a snake school, but there is. And it's not a school where you have classrooms or you sit in a chair. It's something quite different. It's held in the hills of Malibu on a flat field, and the owner or the person who runs it has his own unique way of making sure that the dogs learn about rattlesnakes. So the first thing they did was they attach an electric collar to the dog's neck, and then let the dogs out on this field where their buckets strategically placed with rattlesnakes under it that have been defanged. Well, when the dogs come a little close to investigate the rattling tails as the snakes are slithering on their bellies across the dirt, they're attracted to it, and as they come close to it, he hits a switch and a shot goes through the dog, a couple of bolts go through him, and he knows that he mustn't approach the rattlesnake. After 3 times, he knows perfectly that this is something to keep away from. As a result of you see the dog come to the rattlesnake, and as he sees it, he'll veer away and circumvent the whole area. So our dogs have been protected, and they've given us a lot of pleasure. Now, if any one of you don't have pets or are thinking of getting a pet, I would highly recommend that you get an Australian Shepherd. They're kind and caring, they're loving and loyal, and they'll give you so much pleasure. Not only how you will be able to love them, but you'll see how they will love you. Thank you.